All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special edition, this holiday edition of our MAPS Coaching live webinar series. And I'm pumped. Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell any listing in 7 days and how to get two more listings or buyers, two more sales from every listing that you produce. Now, we're going to jump into some very different concepts than you may have seen in previous webinars. What I'm going to ask, and as we continue to have people jump on here, is that I'm going to need you to have an open mind today. I know that we're going to have people from all over the country that are joining us. And I know there's different MLS rules, and we have people from all over Canada and all over every country. So you're going to have to understand that a lot of the concepts we're going to go over today, we got stuck on certain pieces that we had to figure out a way in our own market to make them work. So they should work in any market, but we're going to make sure that you start today with an open mind. And what I want to do is try to eliminate the word I can't or we can't from the chat box today, because I've taught this before, and some limited beliefs are like, well, I can't charge this in my area. We're not allowed to do the coming soon the way you do it out there. We're not allowed to do certain things here that in Colorado that are not allowed in other states. All of us have our own set of problems. So as we get people jumping in here, I'm going to ask for your permission to be an American and not an Americant. Right? We're going to be very focused on how can we do things and solve these problems instead of these limited beliefs that we might have, because we're going to go into some very interesting concepts about how to get every listing sold in 7 days or less, and then how to take that additional pieces of business. So we're excited to have everyone here. One of the things that I'm most pumped about is that number one, first of all, thanks to MAPS Coaching for giving us this opportunity, and of course to giving you all of these amazing sessions. I attended several of them over the holiday, and it's been amazing. So big shout out to MAPS Coaching. As we jump in, of course, what I love to do is I love to bring this to life. So in the chat box, throw your name in there, where you're from, and then this is the big number. How many listings are you going to sell in 2024? Not your goal, not what you're hoping to do. How many listings are you going to sell in 2024? Right? I love that. There we go. Lighten it up. So everyone understands how to use the chat box. And I thrive off of emojis. I'm like an emoji fanatic. I love people lighting up the chat box. This is a very active thing. We will be taking live questions and talking to you and have voices and all of that. But a lot of this I've got to bang through because we only have a limited time. We have exactly 41 minutes to teach you everything I can about how to sell a listing in 7 days or less. So have pen, paper if you can. If you're in the shower, that's not possible. If you're driving, be safe. But we're going to jump right into it. All right. So, of course, we have to make sure that anything we do is TCPA regulated, and of course that you comply with every single TCPA rule, including business calls, never call or text a number, never do anything that messes with the do not call list. And I'm going to add an extra warning today that concepts that we teach here, you may need to check with your managing broker, your local state laws, all of that, because there's things that are different in every area. All right, so double check, be safe, and let's have fun. All right, so let's talk about it real quick. What causes a home to sell in 7 days or less? I'd like you to put some ideas here in the chat box. So what do you think causes a home to sell in 7 days or less? Pricing it right? Okay, I love that. Market conditions, price and time. Location, I love that. Location, urgency, there we go. Pricing correctly, proper pricing, I love that. Great conditions. Staging, there we go, getting some new ones. Exposure, I love that. Motivation. Fear of missing out. I saw that one fly by. It was like a ticker price, FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Ooh, so we got the talented crew today. All right, so we're gonna make sure that we really talk about a few of these things that are really what we focus on. I didn't come up with this myself. I oddly have a bizarre passion for real estate listings. It's been the whole basis of my career, 21 plus years now. I've sought out all of the ninjas of listings across the country, and if I haven't reached out to some of you, I apologize, but I went and talked to the top 100, not just from Keller Williams, but from companies across the country to find out how they do this. And after years of studying this, and a lot of you would guess, we know that there's only two things that guarantee a home to sell, and that's price and time, right? Price and time are the only two things that can actually guarantee a home to sell. Now, I saw staging, I saw location, I saw all of those things, and those are all definitely enhancements that can help cause a home to sell. But if you think about this concept, and this always irritates a number of real estate agents, and I apologize, especially all of my design background friends and all the people that love going and telling people how to stage their house, all of my photographers and all of these amazing people out there. If we price any property low enough, will it sell? Whoa, am I okay? Oh, sorry. My whole screen jumped off for a second. I apologize. That was the weirdest thing. So if we price any property low enough, will it sell? Yes. Second, if we price any property, and I do mean any property, or if we give any property enough amount of time to sell, will it sell? Now, it might take 20, 30 years for that property to sell, but absolutely it will sell, right? If I list a house at $500,000 and the market value is currently $300,000, if I give that 20 years to sell, it will sell. So what we have to figure out and make sure that we're dead focused on as real estate listing professionals is that what we're really trying to do is manipulate price and time. Not only manipulate it, but have a detailed strategy to make sure that we're maximizing it as best as we possibly can. That's what the top agents across the country do, and that's what works as far as making sure that you can help every seller. No seller wants to be on the market longer than 7 days. They might tell you that. They might say, well, Brendan, time's not a big deal to us. It'll sell when it'll sell. Well, that's our job to communicate to them why that's a problem, okay? So how do we impact price and time, okay? We're gonna talk about that. Now, for us, what we did at our real estate team, Elite Home Partners here in Colorado, we looked at this and we said, you know what? For years, we had a very basic listing presentation. And to say basic, and I had spent a ton of time on it. It was better than most out there, I felt anyway. And we used to have this very systematic way of doing things where we would talk about the marketing that we do. We would talk about the staging. We would talk about the services that we provide. All of these things that we would do to say, here's how we help you get your home marketed. What we were missing was a strategy, and what we were missing was a program. And once we made a decision to make that switch, which took a lot of work, a lot of time, it paid off massively for us. And we learned this from other greats across the country, that what you really need to do to impact price and time is deliver a powerful program and strategy to every single seller. So out of that was born our program. And just so you know, everything I'm going to tell you here is so that you can hopefully rip off and duplicate yourself or create some version of it. Or, if you move to Colorado and want to join us, right? But this is all the great thing about who we are at Keller Williams is we give everything to everyone. It's all about abundance. I'm not telling you have to go and do this. I'm telling you, we were inspired to do it, and it made a major difference in the amount of listings we sold. It made a difference in the amount of commission and compensation we were able to receive. And the whole thing came around, so we didn't have to keep going and trying to sell our resume. We didn't have to keep trying to sell ourselves. We were selling a program and a strategy that was proven by top Fortune 500 companies. Now, if some of you are going, this sounds a little like another company that has a 7 and a 2 in it, you would be correct, because we took a lot that we learned from that company and then we made it into our own, because there was things that didn't necessarily work for us, but the concepts were interesting. And then we added a whole bunch of stuff. That's the great thing, right? Innovation of how these things continue. So out of this was born our strategy and program, and I'm going to share with you some of the takeaways from that program. It's very hard to do in 45 minutes, but I'm going to do my best. And of course, I'll always help anyone if you have any follow-up questions later on. But in our program, we realized that one of the biggest issues sellers face is time on market. So when we look at this graph, you can complete this graph, and I can't tell you how much power is in this chart for each of you in your own local area. Now, when you review this with the seller to make sure that they're understanding this, if you look at this, if a home sells in the first 0 to 7 days, here in the Front Range of Colorado, sellers usually receive 100% of asking price. 8 to 14 days, you're going to start losing that price. When you get down to 50 plus days, you're at 85.5% in our area of what you would have got versus your original asking price. Okay. Now, if you think about that, if you're listed at $1 million, that's $150,000 loss because of time on market. So that means that every minute that we have to sell a listing in 7 days is absolutely critical. So as we built out our program, we said, how can we solve this problem and how can we move forward with it so that sellers will understand? Will you get a copy of the graph? I'm assuming so, but I don't make those rules. So I will say yes, and I will hopefully be able to get it to you, but I am not sure. But it's a great question. So when we look at these numbers, right, what we're looking at is explaining to the seller that every minute matters. And when we go into this, we know that what reduces time on market and creates a higher sales price are 5 key components that we've developed. Number 1, we have to establish a pricing temperature check. And I'm going to teach you some techniques today that have served us very well in making sure that all of this comes down to having a very powerful pricing strategy. And of course, being able to have powerful pricing conversations mixed with a powerful strategy that also, calm down some of you out there, includes marketing, includes staging, includes all these things, right? But is not the focus of them on any level. Those are things to enhance. They're not things that are going to cause the actual home to sell or guarantee it to sell in 7 days or less. So the next thing we have to do, and I saw someone put that in there in the chat, right? Fear of missing out, FOMO, right? We have to create a fear of loss. We have to make sure that the buyer feels like if they don't act on this today, it won't be there tomorrow. Then we want to create social proof. We want to make sure that buyers feel like everyone wants this property, and if everybody wants it, they must want it too. So it goes on from there. Then we're going to treat buyers like VIPs, and I'm going to explain to you the technique that we do, or we utilize to do that. And then we've got to create a sense of security. To get buyers to act, just think about it, you got to create a sense of security like, hey, if you buy today, money back guarantee if you don't like it in 60 days. This is what we're trying to do, is create these 5 pillars that reduce time on market and create a higher sales price. So let's jump into number 1. We've got creating your pricing temperature check, okay? So what we're doing throughout the listing is we're going to set up, and I'm going to show you here with a calendar where we do this, pricing checks to make sure that you're having conversations with your seller. We do it during the coming soon. We do it before going active. We're going to teach you today something called the VIP buyer showing window. And then before we've launched to the actual public, meaning we allow access to the property from actual showings, okay? And these are all going to be concepts that you may or may not vibe with just yet, but you're going to understand here in a second. So as we look at a calendar, I'm going to go through this. During the coming soon period, if you're allowed to do that in your area, and we figured out ways to be able to do that, here in Colorado, you're allowed 7 days to put a property coming soon. So when I meet with the seller, and the seller says, Brendan, we want $1 million. And I know that this property, every comp on earth, I've gone through the market analysis, I've shown them everything, will not sell for $1 over 800,000, right? There's just nothing there. I go, John, Susie, would it be fair that we test and take the temperature of the market with this price at $1 million during our coming soon process? Now, if we don't have the response necessary to build the demand, then that's telling us that the market doesn't find your property to be a strong enough value. Would it be fair, and this is the wording, would it be fair if we revisited the price before we took the property active in the MLS? That statement, would it be fair, is so powerful because they're always going to say yes. I've not had anyone say no yet, okay? Now, then you can do that before the day of, before going active. So you could do this 2 or 3 times during the coming soon period if needed. Then the morning of going active, you're gonna have that conversation. Now, as I show you this calendar, and I know we're gonna have some questions on the calendar, we've built a calendar around this entire process to sell homes in 65 hours, 24 hours on Saturday, 24 hours on Sunday, and by 5 p.m. on Monday. That makes exactly 65 hours, okay? Now, where really all the magic happens is prior to that, and where a lot of the magic happens is making sure that we're doing these temperature checks with the market and then having powerful conversations to adjust pricing or value if we need to, right? If people just aren't feeling that there's enough value, we can always try to adjust value, meaning that we can adjust the landscape and we can do all that, but we rarely ever do that unless it's something extreme. We know price will guarantee this property to move. If the market's not responding, and what I mean by not responding is we're not getting phone calls, we're not getting Zillow saves, we're not getting reviews in the MLS because we can see how many people are looking at it. If we're monitoring this like a vital sign, we're realizing we're not where we need to be to stay alive or to make this listing be alive, then we've got to do something and we've got to hit it with that machine to resuscitate this thing. Otherwise, it's going to die in that first weekend. And we don't want our listings to die in that first weekend. So to create a fear of loss, let's take a look here at the calendar, okay? Now, when we look at this calendar, what you're looking at is our Sold in 65 launch weekend calendar. I want you to think about this concept and take away from today creating your own calendar if you haven't already. This calendar is so powerful as a visual, and especially making sure that you understand how to explain your concept to the seller. So what we're looking at here is where you see state required paperwork in the top on Thursday, right? When we get a listing signed, we can take that listing active in the MLS. So we can go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We like to go active in the MLS on a Wednesday. And for here, what that means is we take the property and actually put it into active status. Here in Colorado, the coming soon period is so you can get photography done and all this. Well, for us, yes, that's all applies, but we're utilizing that coming soon period to test the market's response to the price. So we're going to have those conversations. Now, once we go active in the MLS on that Wednesday, we put a showing block into our MLS system by the request of the seller that they're not going to allow showings until Sunday at noon. Now, as I said, remember when I talked, some of you jumped on late, this is where you got to let your mind go and you got to go, hey, but that doesn't work in my area and we're not allowed to do that. We had all kind of problems we had to figure out as well. Everything is possible if you open your mind and spend enough time trying to think about the problem that you're having and how you're trying to solve it, okay? So we put a showing block into the system. and then letting people know that actual showings are going to start, meaning open showings, Sunday at 12 o'clock, which you see there in the lower left-hand corner. During this period, the reason that we're able to create demand and fear of loss is of course, we've created a powerful pricing strategy that's getting a lot of excitement around the property. I'm going to show you steps we take here in a moment on creating more energy around the listing and marketing and all that fun stuff. I'll show you that here in a moment. But a lot of this, of course, comes down to if it's priced correctly. And the word I want you to write down that we use constantly, create an initial asking price. Initial asking price. We don't use selling price, list price. All we're creating is an initial asking price with the seller and going, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, we know that you're in control of this entire process. All we're setting is an initial asking price. If you don't get the price that you want for your property, you don't have to accept any offers. That's completely, you're in control. But one thing I can guarantee you, Mrs. Seller, Mr. Seller, if we don't get people in to see the property, you're not going to have any offers at all. So that's the conversations that we have to be really strong with in making sure that we explain to them this strategy. And thank you, Teresa. Yeah, this system has worked great in your market. That's awesome, right? So now we are releasing it Sunday at 12 to the market. We put a piece of verbiage in our listings that say, seller may allow early access to the property if it's agent accompanied. Please call me for details. Now agents and buyers start to call us directly and they say, hey, Brennan, this thing's priced great. My buyers love it. Can I get in? I saw your message. Can I get in early to see it? Well, I checked with my seller. Actually, we'd be able to allow you into the property Saturday at 10 a.m. Let me ask you a few questions about your buyer. Are they pre-qualified? Can you send me over the letter? This is your opportunity to do a lot of pre-qualing, so you're not bothering your sellers with one-off showings. They're not having to do open houses. We don't do open houses in our properties anymore unless it's something went seriously wrong, right? We post that message in the MLS, in the broker remarks, and we can also publish it publicly. And then we also are making outbound phone calls, postcards, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Great question, Francine. So again, and you can also put it into the showing block, depending if you're using Showing Time or centralized showings. I'm not sure which company you're using. You can usually put information in there as well. Okay. And again, I know every market's different. All my haters out there saying it can't work here. Yep, emails too. So now we've created fear of, well, first of all, we've created the VIP experience of making people feel special. Okay. When we make people feel special and they get in early, they're going to create higher offers. They're going to do more value. And we're going to talk about how we do that here in just a second. But what they're really worried about is that if they don't do something on Saturday, they're going to have to compete with everybody else on Sunday when it's open to the public, which we also have a lot of demand for. Now, you don't have to only do it Saturday at 10. You could have people come at Friday at 9, Saturday at 1, whatever time you want, but you need to leave yourself enough time to be able to get offers that evening to make sure that your seller feels comfortable removing it from the market so that they have their house back on Sunday. Now, I only have 45 minutes today. I wish I had we teach this in a full day class. If anyone wants to fly out to beautiful Denver, Colorado, we'd love to have you out here. But I can't teach it all in 45 minutes. There's so many techniques and things that we do in this process. But just understand that basic, simple plan, 10 o'clock Saturday, you get bunches of offers Friday night or Saturday night. You present to your seller. We have another process there we call BOOM, our buyer offer optimization method. We get the best offers. Seller accepts an offer. Property goes under contract. You're watching football on Sunday. They're watching football on Sunday. They're back in their house. They're happy. You're a superhero. You're leveraging this listing to tell the world how great you are, under contract in less than 45 hours, whatever, whatever it was, right? Everyone thinks you're a rock star. That's what we're trying to do here, is have rock star Buyer offer optimization method. Yes, it's we boom every offer we receive. Yes, so so you can have fun with a lot of this stuff. When we present that to sellers, their eyes go, "What? You're going to boom my offer?" We're like, "Yep." Can we put that in the chat box, Anna, so I don't have to say it again, or someone? Thank you. Thank you. All right, so now we've created this fear of loss, of everyone worried about if it's going to go active on Sunday. We've got great offers coming in. Now, if on, let's say, Thursday, I didn't have a bunch of demand to come to our VIP buyer or to our VIP showing window, then that's another pricing temperature check to have a conversation going, look, it's Thursday or it's Friday morning. Susie, Becky, I'm a little nervous. We don't have anyone coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock. At this point, we have three options. Option number one, we can hope and pray. Option number two, we can bring more value to the property, enhance what we're offering to see if more people would be interested, right? You could put a pool in your backyard by tomorrow. Probably not going to happen. We could put some palm trees in the front or pine trees here in Colorado, whatever it is. Or number three, we can adjust the price to open us up to a broader market of buyers to make sure we get people to see the property so they fall in love and then they start competing to get you the highest price possible. What would you like to do? All right. And so we have a whole script. We have a conversation sales book that has a lot of these techniques in there. We'll put that link out there, of course, and everyone can access that at some point as well. But these are those powerful conversations that we have to get very comfortable with, okay? Nothing's worse than waiting 2 weeks, dodging your seller, fingers crossed. And I've been there. I'm not saying I've been perfect every time. I've been there going, oh my gosh, I'm doing special prayers. I'm doing manifesting. I'm visualizing in the morning. I'm going, can I please just get a showing on this property? Please, I just need one. We don't want to be in that position. That sucks. We're playing defense at that point and not offense. We've got to play offense in the listing game to win games. Okay? Right? So strategy matters. Everything that we're doing here is all about the strategy and the program that you're delivering. I never talk about our resume. We have agents, partners in our organization that are 20 years old. They can't drink with us at the TGI Fridays, and they're using this program to go take listing after listing after listing because they're selling a program and a strategy, not their resume and not what they offer, right? We're going to do Matterport photography. We don't even talk about marketing our entire presentation, taking listing after listing for our minimum compensation package, which is 3.5% that we accept for sold in 65 services. Okay. Now you can charge, as we know, whatever, everything's negotiable, but that's minimum for us. Before this program, we were receiving 2.42% on average. You know what a difference it was this year to add an entire percentage point to every listing we took and doubled our listings? So I'm not trying to say this to impress you. I'm trying to say this to hopefully impress upon you that this is all about sharpening that axe before going out there and cracking that tree, right? This is all about sharpening the axe and then, instead of hitting that darn tree with a baseball bat. And I think some of us get stuck in hitting that tree with a baseball bat. Strategy wins. Programs win. And the sellers love it because it's something different. If everyone sits in front of them and goes, I do staging, I do movie type photography, so can everyone else. Okay? All right. I hope I'm off my soapbox now. Yes, so great question, David, and I'll answer everyone. I saw a bunch of them come through and I couldn't see all of them, but so David, great question. For the VIP showing window, you can be there or one of your associates. It's exactly 1 hour, right? If you can be there, I look at it going, if I can be there, I'm going to be there. A lot of times I meet buyers in person there, not just agents. I feel that I can probably do a great job of selling the property. But again, if you're doing 10 of these a week, which I know some of you are, you can't. So you're going to need to have showing or VIP showing assistants available. All you're doing is scripting to them exactly how to do it. I mean, it's not rocket science at the end of the day. Great question, though. I love that. All right. So the reason this program works is here's the trick. That Saturday at 10 o'clock, you're not just letting one agent come, you're letting hundreds of agents come to the 1 hour showing. If the price was correct, you did the right things with the strategy and all of this, you're going to have demand. One of our recent listings, we had 136 cars parked down the street. Can you imagine in a neighborhood seeing, you know how many 136 cars is? That's like a Whole Foods parking lot, right? It's a lot of cars, okay? Imagine the stir that creates. And I'm going to talk about how to take more listings from this, right? Insanity. So now everybody's waiting to get into your Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday sale. And they're all going, if I don't buy this house, we got to be nuts. This thing must be the greatest property that's ever existed. Now, will you get some people that go, I just don't want to compete, Susie. Let's go home and be miserable. Sure. There's going to be one-off exceptions, of course. But the general public, just like when a new iPhone is released, they can make plenty of iPhones. They have enough iPhones to make for the entire planet. They hold back the amount so that it seems like it's selling out and it's that much cooler. That way, there's that much more demand. It's all scripted, okay? All right, so just to keep us on time, and we're going to track all your questions and come back to them at the end. Number 4, we treat buyers like VIPs and buyer agents like VIPs. So you're reading some verbiage here. This isn't for the slide. This is exact verbiage from our program. Even on those last slides, you're getting exact verbiage from our program. So it might not make sense for a slide, but I was like, let's use some of this that we actually communicate out to our clients, okay? So what we do is we break this down into a 5-step process. So when they're there for the 1 hour showing window, we deliver the seller story. I want you to write this down. Humanize the seller. When we humanize the seller and make them feel like a real person, they're much more likely to get better offers from a buyer. So I'll be like, hey, John and Linda, they've lived here for 22 years. The only reason they're moving on Earth is because John blew his knee out. They have to get into a ranch property. They've loved this home. They have 3 beautiful kids, Susie, Skippy, and Ding Dong, or whatever their kids' names are, right? They had 2 dogs. They have all of this stuff. They have a lizard. They've loved this home forever. They planned it, blah, blah. Then the buyer knows that they're human, which is going to create a price. Now imagine telling this to the seller that you're going to do this during the presentation. They go, oh my gosh, wow, that's new. I haven't heard that. Possibly, right? Then, of course, we've already priced it to sell. So when I meet someone at the property, I go, we've already done all the research. This property is the best overall value in the entire XYZ. Then we hit all the special features. It's got a sauna, it's got a wine cellar, it's got if it's a junky place, it's got a front door. I don't know if try to find any special feature it can possibly have, right? And then of course we take them through the hidden gems. In our world, a hidden gem is every year it has a block party and they invite all the kids over for Halloween and everybody decorates their house and has a contest. Tupac lived 3 doors down from this house. Whatever there is that's a hidden gem that might be something interesting that you would deliver in that story. Then the last piece, we close the window. Now that we've told everybody at this 1 hour showing window what's so exciting about the property, John, I need your clients to have an offer to me no later than by 5 p.m. to even have a chance of me wanting to have my sellers take the property off the market before we launch this to the public tomorrow. Can you have it to me by 5 o'clock? Yeah, Brendan, absolutely. 5 o'clock, I'll have it to you by 3. And just so you know, before you send over that offer, it's going to need to be exceptional. Here's a brochure with exactly what the sellers are looking for to make this work for them. The closer or higher you go above this, the more likely that you're going to win this home. All right. Now get out of here. Don't smack them because that's not allowed anymore, but high five them, fist pump them, whatever you want to do, right? Now, if there's a bunch there, you're doing this one after another. You're handing out brochure, tell them what you want. Brochure, tell them what you want. Brochure, tell them what you want. The agent's going, this is what we got to do to win this house, or we got to do even better. Now, as I said, I'm doing this in less than 40 minutes. I apologize. There's a lot of nuance that goes into this. We're going to try to answer questions as best we can here in a moment. But imagine you explaining that this is what you do when you're talking to the seller and you're like, have you ever watched the Oscars, right? However you want to set up your story, however you want to explain to them how you're going to treat these people different, it's powerful. It's extremely powerful, okay? So one of our mottos that we live by, do what others won't to have what others want. I just think about that statement all the time. Okay? And it's the little nuances. It's the little nuances. And then if that's not enough, almost did the same thing at the same time, right? If that's not enough, we want to create a sense of security. We want to protect this home. So in our program, every single one of our properties is protected with our IPP, our Inspection Protection Program. This gives every buyer that walks through the most, we call it a supreme home warranty. We partner with 210 home warranties, and if we like 210, you can use whatever warranty company you want, but when you start doing this at bulk, you get different deals and stuff like that, right? 210 home warranty protects the property during the listing, because what's Murphy's Law? As soon as we list the property, the refrigerator's going to break. It protects it while we're under contract and protects the buyer for 12 months after. So now that I've created security for the buyer, they're quicker to make offers, because when they saw that 1944 boiler in the basement, they feel that, oh, I can still move forward because even this thing busts, I'm protected in the first year and I can always extend the warranty. If the AC blows outside, if you're down in Arizona, whatever it is. So now we've created security with the buyer. The seller feels awesome about this. And when we get for time of inspection objection, we're going to have a lot less inspection hurdles. Here in Colorado, 25% of all properties in 2023 fell out of contract. That meant you had a 1 in 4 chance of getting to the, you had a 3 out of 4 chance of getting to the finish line when you put a deal under contract here. 25% of the time it was going to bail, and almost all of the time it was inspection. So how do we remove that? That drives prices up. That drives demand. That makes people feel comfortable. Okay? So here's what this looks like psychologically. And this is a slide directly from our program. Now, I apologize, it's much bigger when you see it, real time, but I'm going to take you through it, the mind of a buyer. So first of all, we want to create that fear of loss. So, hi, I really like this home. I can't afford to wait. Let's see it today. Then the second piece, they get a VIP buyer experience. So the buyer goes, wow, early access and VIP treatment, that makes me feel really special. Number 3, we create social proof. There's so many other buyers here. I need to make a strong offer so I don't lose this home. And then lastly, this property was protected. So thank you for accepting my offer and protecting me against any hidden repair cost. They're happy, the seller's happy, and we just took them through the psychological process proven by so many other Fortune 500 companies. So that's what that looks like. Now, I'm going to run through how do we take 2 more listings. That was how to sell a listing in 7 days. We wanted to give you maximum value. Here's how we leverage it to take 2 more sales from every property. Number 1, You're going to, of course, leverage this with your coming soon and post it on your social media, right? That's a first step and show everyone how great you are. Number two, you're going to have a for sale sign with a text writer, right? So call 24 hours a day for information. The phone number game doesn't work any longer, right? You need to have a text writer so that they can do that and it gets digitally sent to your phone so you can have their phone number and follow up with them immediately. Or if you have programs like we do with artificial intelligence, the AI starts talking to them as soon as they text that code. Next thing, just listed calls. Hey, I just listed this amazing home with our powerful Sold in 65 program. We know it's going to sell very quickly. So I'm calling all the neighbors to see if, first of all, you have anyone that might be interested in buying it. And second of all, because it's going to sell so quickly, if you know of anyone else in the neighborhood that might be interested in selling, because we're going to have so many backup buyers. Then you're going to do a postcard. Once you get your photography back, it's going to have a very similar message on that postcard. Then you're going to door knock and invite the neighbors and go, I'm sorry, you're going to have a parking lot. You possibly could have a parking lot in front of your houses. I mean you no harm. It's because our program generates so much activity for our listing. I'm also stopping by because it's going to sell so fast. Do you know of anyone that might be interested to sell? Because we're going to have a lot of backup offers. Oh, no, we're not. We don't know anyone. Well, if you were to move, where would you go next? Blah, blah, blah. That's a whole another sales conversation that you can practice. All right, then active on MLS, post on social media. So now on our social media, we have another opportunity to tell the world about this great property and that we're going to have so many buyers. Please reach out to me if you have any interest in selling. Under contract post, again, same concept. Just sold postcard or just sold post on social media. We just sold this property in 32 hours, 14 hours, 19 hours, 55,000 over sales price, whatever it might have been. Tell your story. Take a picture with your seller being so darn happy, holding up your key logo or whatever it is that you do. Leverage the heck out of that. And then lastly, just sold TCPA regulated, do not call list phone calls. We just sold this home. It sold over asking price. I was just calling to see if you or anyone you know might be interested in selling, blah, blah, blah. Boom. This will generate you so much business. Now, if you try to do some of these, but not all of them, you'll be better than 95% of agents across the country, okay? But if you could only pick 2 out of these 10 that you feel are the most powerful, what are the 2? Let me see it in the chat box. What are the 2 that if you could only do 2 would give you the highest chance of producing a listing? What do you think they are? Number 5, love that. Number 2 and 3, yep, there we go. I love this. Boom, yeah. So the answer is going to be, it depends if you are great on the phone or if you're great in person or if you're great at digital marketing, right? If your social media game isn't elaborate, then maybe you're better off at the door. If your front door game isn't strong, maybe you're better on the phone. If you hate ever having to do either of those 2 things, then you better make sure you have a black belt in social media and that you're just blasting this through. None of us were really built to do all of this. As you get more money from taking all these listings that we're showing you how to take, you're going to be able to obviously hire more leverage to fill in those holes in your gap. But don't try to attack all 10 day one. Take 2, maybe even 1 to start with, and make it amazing, and then add on to it. All right, so if you liked what you heard here today, this is part of our entire program and what we call our core model. Today, we focused on just one of the 6 sections, which is sellers, okay? And sellers are very powerful. In this, we break this down in detail week over week over week over week until you build this muscle, right? 5 pounds at a time. Next thing you know, you're bench pressing or curling 600 pounds. But there's a rhythm to this. So in our core model, we go through each section to help you develop this system. Now, we do that through our program called Pulse. Productivity ultimately leads to success every day. This is the same exact program we use to build our real estate team to be the #1 real estate team in the state of Colorado. It's a program that I've been developing for 20 plus years with all the rest of our leadership team. And we're already having massive success with it because now we get to partner with MAPS. So every week you're going to be receiving me in your living room or wherever you like to learn. We're going to be taking you through concepts using this exact formula here: clarity, lead measures, celebrating your success with visual scoreboards, and winning the week 1 week at a time. Now, if you're ready to sign up, because why wouldn't you? Because if you like this, I would. $99 per month, cancel at any time. Plus, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, just like our listings, right? Got to give them that guarantee, 90-day money-back guarantee. People like to feel that security. Now, we also, if you're a Keller Williams Market Center or a team, and we know we have people on here that are non-Keller as well, we have a group rate that is $9.95 a month, unlimited. That means if you have 400 people at your brokerage, you can get all 400 people signed up for $9.95 a month, right? So talk to your leadership. In the meantime, sign up by yourself. Make sure that you're getting it what you need to learn from this. And we have a ton of fun. We have contests, games. We just gave away a package to go see Mel and Tony Robbins. Everything is, you got to gamify this and have fun with it. All right. I know I talked too much. That was going to be close. We are at the last minute mark. Anna, what questions should I try to answer as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest questions, and let me just scroll, we had so much engagement in the chat box. So we had a lot of questions about how we secure. If you get 3.5% on the list side, what's the buy side and what's the conversation with the seller to get them to select a particular compensation package as you move through the sold in 65 listing presentation?
Yes. So I believe it's pronounced Nisi Draper. Yes, we do teach this in Pulse. Absolutely. So the question is, we provide an estimated net sheet that provides the option for optional buyer compensation. So when we deliver our estimated net sheet, we go, here's what our services cost for sold in 65, 3.5%. And you have the option, and we have 3 boxes and another line that says other. Now, for the optional buyer side compensation, we have 3%, 2%, 1%, or you can select any amount that you feel appropriate. What would you like to select? They'll either say, what is normal? What's that? We go, there is no normal, there is no traditional. It's completely up to you as the seller. Then the conversation usually leads on to, well, what did the other ones that sell closed at? Well, let me show you. They offered this, 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 and this. Well, what if we offer 0? Can we do that? We can, but here's my concern. So this is a whole piece of the actual training. I mean, this is want to talk about winning or losing a listing. This all happens in that process. What else?
Awesome. And then the other question we got is, who's paying for the home warranty? Is it the seller? Is it the buyer? Let's walk through that process.
We include it in our service. So we as the company are paying for the home warranty, right? And we really wanted to do that. What we looked at as to receive the additional money, right? You can go 3.5%, 4.5%, 5%. You can add on staging onto your services, whatever value package you want to include. But when we looked at it, the cost of the warranty, when you're talking about a 1% difference in commission, right? Think about it, on a $500,000 house, every percent is $5,000. So if a home warranty is going to cost you $500, $600, depending on your area, $700, but you're increasing your average price 1%, you're getting a $4,500 return on investment to offer that home warranty or whatever level of service it is, right? So I hope that answers that question, but that's why we do it. We also have a $5.99 brokerage service fee on every single listing we sell as well, and every single buyer transaction. That's a whole nother class, right? What else, Anna?
Are there any other sort of, let's say I sell my home and I'm buying my next home with you, is there any sort of cut on compensation if you're double ending both the sell side and the buy side?
Oh, great question. So we used to have our comp structure was 4.5% if we sold your property in-house, meaning we brought the buyer, 5% if you bought your next home through us, and 6% if neither of those two things happened. We left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table every single year. With this program and strategy, what we're saying now is we offer this program, its services are 3.5%. I have to be able to do that to make sure we maximize you getting the highest net price possible. I'm trying to hit a record-breaking price per square foot for you here. Now, when we go to find your replacement home, your dream home, obviously my compensation is whatever in your area, you worked into your buyer agency agreement. Yeah, I am not ever again, none one in our organization is ever doing 2 jobs for half price ever again. And we've not had any resistance to that. I thought it was an incentive to help take more listings. It hurt us. It hurt us bad. I mean, because again, you're shaving a percentage right off the top. So if you're at, I'm not saying there's no standard number, but if you're at 6% and now we're at 5% right out of the gate, that means the buyer agent still is going to be getting maybe X and I'm getting 2. And then I'm going to go do all the rest of the work to help you find your dream home. Great question. I love that. But yeah, lessons learned over the evolution of all of our concepts. And then, Ann, I think one more, and then Maps is going to kill me if I don't stop.
Perfect. So what app do you recommend for the QR code text writer that directs to the agent? Let's just kind of talk through our text writer on our for sale signs.
Yep. So in our area, we use a company called Listings Magic. I'm not sure if they're offered everywhere. If you just Google real estate sign writer text code, I'm sure there's 10 different providers and probably some people on here that use different ones. I'll throw some things in here to be able to do that. Yeah, and then join the A program that uses the answer to the prospect. I love that, Jose. He's exactly right. But yeah, I'm sure even the stuff we're doing is probably already evolved and there's new tech out there. But at minimum, you want to make sure that the buyers, no one wants to talk to a human, unfortunately, and you want to give people the ability to be able to call that writer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't want people having to get out of their car. But what you really want is to never put a brochure or a flyer in a flyer box ever again. Right? That got me out of ever having to put flyers in a flyer box because now it's digital. And the way you pitch this to the seller is going, the problem when somebody takes a brochure or a flyer is I have no idea who takes that flyer or brochure. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what I want to do is make sure that we have a lead capture system and I put that on every one of our signs so I can instantly follow up with them, see if they're pre-qualified, get them in to see your property so you make the most money possible. Like I said, I get excited about listings. All right. We'll try to take a list. We'll try to copy all the rest of the questions out here. We'll try to put out a message for any of the ones we weren't able to answer. Thank you, everyone, for spending this amount of time during the holidays with us. Thank you, Maps Coaching, for obviously providing this valuable service. And I hope everyone has an amazing holiday. If you ever need anything, connect with us on Facebook, connect with me on social media. I'm always happy to help. And everyone has an amazing 2024. Have a great day.